Well, hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by. I've been getting a few requests to do a developer's commentary on the maps that I make, and I thought, that's pretty cool. I want to show you guys how I did some of the stuff, why I did some of the stuff. So we're going to be starting our developer's commentary on diversity, but if you want to see anything else about complex, we can talk about that too. In this episode, we're not going to have any real spoilers, so feel free to watch it. Further episodes, you may want to play the map before you watch it. We're going to be talking about how I did the monument in this case. And if you have any questions or ideas for future episodes, what you want to talk about, maybe it's something in the escape branch or something in the puzzle branch, maybe a particular puzzle, or any joke you want me to clarify that I made in the game, whatever, just put it in the comments and we'll figure it out. And we'll do another video on it. But in this first episode here, like I said, we want to talk about the monument here. It's a little complex. Complex. It is, kind of. It's looks more complicated than it actually is, but it is completely inspired and almost copied from the code. Like it is my own design, but I totally got the idea from Jesper's design. And just to show you how it works, hopefully you've played the map or you've seen the trailer. This works in the case that whatever wool you get, you drop in the chest, and it will identify what color it is, and then it will pop it out up here. And at first glance, it's pretty cool. And this is the first thing that I built in diversity, and actually I said, if I can't get this one right, I'm not going to bother making the map. So this is the beginning of the project. So I'm going to show you here behind. The gravel there is important because gravel and sand I think are the only blocks that drop, and that's how I kind of made it obvious that you got a new color. But you can see here we have a bunch of pistons, and they're all kind of timed out with a redstone delay. If I put one in here, you'll see we drop the orange wool, and it goes through a bunch of yeah, that's pretty quick there. Depending on where it is, it's going to be quicker. You can see it pops up and comes out, and that's how you get the monument built there. So I'm going to show you the redstone behind this. You could probably play around with it if you want. And again, if you have any ideas for future things we want to discuss, I definitely would love to show you some things in the puzzle branch, but at this point there'll be spoilers. So put it in the comments. Anyway, I'm going to show you how I built the monument here. Okay, we're outside here, and I want to show you how the sorting process of it works, and that means that you put any item in a chest, and the system will sort it so that they only get certain items in certain areas. So that can give your output to identifying which wool you've put in there, and that's pretty easy. This is the same way that the code works, and this is where I got the idea from. His goes into a hopper mine goes into a chest, but basically anything that goes down this chute is going to go horizontally and into our last spot here, so we have nothing. And if I put the block of quartz in it, it's going to travel all the way through and to the end. It's pretty quick too. Now, in the middle here, these are interesting because even though we have a horizontal sort of chute here, or horizontal hopper tunnel, if there's a hopper that can accept an item below, and what I mean by that is if I put, there's nothing else that can go into this hopper except for gold, and in this one there's nothing else that can go into this hopper except for diamond. So if I put a gold one in, what it'll do is quickly it'll sense, okay, I can go down here and it'll fill up the gold, but if it's not gold, it'll move on. And in this case, it could be diamond. It says, no, I can't get in there because of the gold, but oh, there's a space for the diamond to go through. And that is how the collection process works in the sorting process. There are every color of wool in there. I've got different hoppers set up to take through there. So I'm going to show you how to do the output once you have it sorted next. Here we've got a little demonstration set up here, and we're specifically looking at comparators here, because comparators have a really interesting way that anything you put in that is like a chest or a dispenser, a dropper, a hopper, something that you can put items into, if you get, let's put something in here. Let's just put one wool. if you put anything into it, it will power a comparator. But the more items you put into it, it'll send a further signal. So as soon as I put, I think there needs to be, remember the number, 18. One more, there we go. Okay, so if I put one more item in this hopper, it's going to power that piston, you'll see. And there we go. And so now, once you have the sorting done here, now you know I need to have that many items in here to power one extra redstone dust. And that's how that whole collection monument works. Because I have these set up so that, let's get a couple comparators here. I have these set up down below so that they are already set to have a certain amount. I don't actually need one there. But if I get some redstone dust here, they're already set to have a certain amount. And we can only accept gold in this one. So let's put an output over here. Let's put a piston. And you'll see we're going to power that over there. Now, we can only accept gold, so if I put anything else, well, first we need to make sure we're at the threshold, and that's going to be 18, I think. 18, yes, because it needs one more. Okay, so now if I put anything else, it just passes on by and doesn't power it. We can put, let's put like some lime in there. And it's just going towards this section because none of these are accepting them. But as soon as we put a gold block in, there we go. We have power on. That is exactly how the system works. I have a set threshold here. As soon as you put one wool in, it powers it. So let me show you the finished product of that underneath where the monument is. So now we're going to head under the monument here. I'm going to break this open, and there's one other thing I could just show you here quickly, is this little command block that says analyzing item, and I don't know how I got that lever. Oh, must have broke it off. You can see this comparator here. Also, if you, right now, it might be a bug, but if you have a power source, kind of an indirect power source, you're not powering that hopper, and you have a comparator on the other side, you can send a quick signal as the item passes through, which goes to this this command block here and says analyzing item. The only reason I put that in there is because it takes a while for the items to go down and be sorted. So it's ready to accept any item that you send down, even one that's wrong, because the ones that are wrong, there's your message that says you can't put it there, and it just goes directly into this chest. So you can see here, let's quickly go around the other side. We've got a lot of glowstone because that's sort of supposed to help with the lag, hopefully. And I've set a larger threshold because we have a longer redstone wire. But if I had put a repeater here, I could have just done the bare minimum. But you see, I've put sponge in. The reason I chose sponge is because it's a block nobody thinks of, and it's also, you can't really obtain it unless you're in creative or you use a give command. So you can see here we've added one more orange wool, and that powers this repeater. All the rest of them haven't been powered because we haven't added any more. But I'll put a cyan one in here, and put one in, and there you go. So as soon as I add one more over that threshold, it's going to activate because it sends the piston, or the not the piston, the redstone signal goes one more. You see it's not lit there. One more and activates that repeater. And that is how the comparing process works. Now, on the other side here, there's a bunch of different torches that it kind of activates a couple of different things. First thing it does is it goes down, it turns these torches off, and once everything gets off, then this redstone signal gets deactivated, and that is basically the ending, which reactivates this, and so on. But it's kind of like an AND gate here. You got to have all these torches off in order for the signal to not give any power, and that's basically saying you need all the colors to end up winning this game. Now, the other thing it does, up top, you can see there's that repeater that's lit, is it which powers this torch, which will I guess it depowers the torch, which stops the signal, but it also powers this torch, which goes up and up and up and does a couple of things. One, it splits off this way to put a couple delays in a process of moving that piston up and the back piston forward. And what that does is what you see when the wool pushes up and pushes out, and it pushes the gravel off into the glowstone. Now, the other way, it also fires a dispenser. And what's in the dispenser? Eggs. So all these chickens back here that you can't hear because you're more than 16 blocks away are constantly laying eggs. I used to have a lot more. I don't know what happened to them. But they're constantly laying eggs, and the reason I picked that is because they're a very easy renewable source, but a renewable mob drop. They go in the hopper, and each one of them gets traveled through a hopper tunnel into a dispenser. And then the dispenser is constantly being filled up. We're never going to run out. I guess it's a dropper so that they don't hatch. And then that hits a tripwire, and the tripwire activates a couple of things. It activates this piston to pull back and another piston to pull down, which is attached to the glowstone. Right, if I can see if I can, well, we can't really see it. See it there. Oh, you can't see it, but let me just break that. Okay, so there are a bunch of pistons here that are pushing up on that glowstone, and what it does is, get up there. What it does is it pushes the gravel here, which pulls that out. And if I can just get over here and break some of these so you can see. It drops down here, pulls out, and then the gravel is allowed to drop. Now, what it does is it hits the sign, and when it hits, when something like gravel or sand hits an object that's not really a block, so it could happen to a pressure plate, a sign, a torch. I think it works with a minecart track, even a slab. It converts that item, as long as it falls more than one block, into the drop instead of the block. So you can see there. And then it automatically goes into this hopper. And the hoppers, well, before I broke them, would go down and then they just collect in the chest here. So that is how that collection, sorting, monument process works. It's pretty, I mean, it's more complicated. It looks more complicated than it actually is. The other thing it does over here, so we've got comparators on both sides. We've got our total threshold set up, so we already went through how it activates that side, but it also activates over here, and as long as one more item gets put into that hopper, and it can only accept A, sponge, and B, orange wool, it will hit that repeater, and this is what shuts off each of those doorways when you complete it, and then you're done and it shuts it off. You can't go back. There's a couple of pistons that close down on that. So that's the guts of it. That's how it works. There are a few other things in this map. One thing I did, where is that? There is a spawner item. This is Jesper's item spawner idea here. This is constantly spawning an item way over here onto this pressure plate, and basically that's just I think it's to change the weather. Yeah. To constantly change the weather so it's clear, because we're in desert, but it does darken the skies, which I didn't want to do until they come with a game rule to disable weather. I hope they do. Lastly here, just want to show you the bonus room. How that works is when you select any type of wool, it gives you the wool, and then it immediately, you can see it's a loop, immediately teleports you back to the beginning, and then pushes that redstone block down, which closes off the access to it. So that prevents you from getting more than one free wool. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed our little developers commentary on diversity. If you have any ideas, I would really like to discuss puzzle. I think there's some pretty cool ideas in there. Some of them I actually came up on my own. Some of them I sort of got inspired or used other guys' design to my benefit. There are some definite interesting traps in Escape. Anything you want to know, you could maybe the collection process and survival works identically to the monument, although it's more condensed and smaller. But anyway, put it in the comments. Hope you enjoyed our look at diversity developers commentary. If you want to take a look at Complex 2, I'm willing to do that. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy your Minecrafting.